So today we're going to review order of operations. Sometimes it's referred to as PEMDAS or GEMDAS. It just tells us what order we would solve a problem such as this: 4 plus 3 times 4 minus 5. There's a specific order that you have to do this, and that's what the acronym stands for. PEMDAS is the P or the G, so sometimes it's referred to as GEMDAS. Is parentheses or groups, you have to do those first, and then exponents, and then multiplication and division. You do it at the same time from left to right, and then addition and subtraction also from left to right. So let's go over these one at a time, starting with parentheses or groups. We have this problem here: 4 minus parentheses 4 plus 8. So with PEMDAS, with the P, you have to do this parentheses first. So 4 minus just comes down, and you have to do 4 plus 8. 4 plus 8 is 12, and then 4 minus 12 would be negative 8. Again, you're doing parentheses, but also you're doing the groups. Another way to get a group is with the absolute value. Let me write that here. Absolute value. And if you remember, the absolute value of a number, like negative 4, absolute value of negative 4 equals 4. It's always a positive number. The absolute value of 5 is 5. If you have the absolute value of 3 minus 6, you would do inside here, 3 minus 6 is negative 3, and then the absolute value of negative 3 would be 3. So you treat absolute value as a group. So we have 4 plus, and then 6 plus 4 would be the absolute value of 10. The absolute value of 10 is positive 10. So now the absolute value symbol is gone, so we continue on with just this addition. And we have 14. I'm going to do one more with the absolute value. Let's do 6 minus the absolute value of 3 minus 5. So again, we're going to do the absolute value inside. 3 minus 5 would be the absolute value of negative 2. The absolute value of negative 2 is positive 2. So we have 6 minus 2, and 6 minus 2 is 4. One more time. Do inside the absolute value first. So in this problem, negative 3 minus 5, the absolute value of negative 3 minus 5, you do inside. Negative 3 minus 5 is negative 8. And the absolute value of negative 8 is 8. Alright. Another way that this is also part of the grouping is the top part of a fraction bar and the bottom part are each their own group. So in order to solve this one, you would have to do the 4 plus 2 first. That would be 6. And now do 6 divided by 3, which is 2. This would work both ways if there was a group on the top and a group on the bottom. You have to do the top first. 3 plus 2 is 5, and then do the group on the bottom. 6 minus 1 is 5, and then do the division. 5 divided by 5 is 1. So that's the G. The E stands for exponents. So 4 to the power of 2, or 4 squared, is 16. Because that 4 squared means 4 times 4. And 4 times 4 is 16. 3 to the power of 3, or 3 cubed, is the same thing as 3 times 3 times 3. And that is 27. So if you had a problem where it was 4 plus 2 to the 4th, you'd have to simplify 2 to the 4th before you can add the 4. So it would be 4 plus 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So 4 plus 16. 4 plus 16 is 20. Alright, that's the exponents, and now we're at multiplication and division. Right, it's PEM or GEMDAS. GEMDAS, and now we're here at multiplication and division. And with multiplication and division, you do it at the same time, except you start over here and you go over here. You start on the left and you go to the right. Alright, so we have 4 plus 6 times 2 divided by 4. We need to do multiplication and division before we do this addition. So I'm starting on the left and working my way right. The first thing I see is this multiplication. So I'm going to have the 4, it comes down, plus this multiplication is 12, and then I have this division. So again, I took care of this. This was furthest to the left. So I did 6 times 2, and now I'm going to do the division because I have a plus and a divide left. Division comes first. So the 4 comes down. 12 divided by 4 is 3. And now lastly, I do my addition. 4 plus 3 is 7. So this bottom one is the same way. I have 3 minus 6 divided by 3 times 2. A lot of you probably have seen the multiplication used with an x for 5 times 2 is 10. This will probably be today's lesson will probably be the last time I use an x. Mostly I'm going to use this dot. But regardless, we're doing our PEMDAS. So multiplication and division. So we have a subtraction and then a division and then a multiplication. So I got to start left to right. I have to do this division first. So 3, negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2, and then I have times 2. So again, I have a subtraction and multiplication, so the multiplication will be first. 3 minus 4. 3 minus 4 equals negative 1. So the addition and subtraction is the same way. You just go from left to right. So there's a plus and a minus, but I need to go from this way to this way. So I have to do 4 plus 3 first, and then I do 7 minus 1. So left to right, 5 minus 4 first, and then the plus. 1 plus 2 is 3. So addition and subtraction is the last thing we do. Alright, so that was, I went back kind of fast, but the beauty of me recording this is that you can review it if you need to. But once again, we have our parentheses or our groups first. We look for those first. Then we look for our exponents. Then we do our multiplication and division from left to right, left to right. And then addition and subtraction from left to right. So I have a couple examples that we'll do. This one. So again, the multiplication, the parentheses and grouping is first. So we have this parentheses here that we need to do first. So we're going to have 7 times 14 plus 2 is 16 minus 9 squared. Again, now it's E. I'm going to write it here. Now we look for exponents, and we have an exponent, so we need to take care of that. So we have 7 times 16, and then 9 squared is 81. And now we have a multiplication and a subtraction, so we're going to do this multiplication first. 7 times 16 is 112. Minus 81. And 112 minus 81 is 31. So our final answer is 31. So here's a good example of nesting, right? Our PEMDAS tells us we have to do this parentheses first. So when we look inside, we see we have a multiplication, an addition, and an exponent. So the next thing we have to do is our exponent. So the parentheses still there. We have 2 times 9 plus 6 squared is 36 minus 5. Now within that parentheses we have a multiplication and an addition. So let's do this multiplication. 2 times 9 is 18 plus 36 minus 5. Now the last thing in the parentheses is this 18 plus 36. So 18 plus 36 is 54. So the parentheses is finally gone, and we have 54 minus 5, which is 49. Our last example here has 2 parentheses. So we need to take care of this parentheses and then this parentheses. So this one, we have a subtraction and an exponent. Exponent comes first. So we're going to do 45 minus 4. And we have plus 14 minus 6. So I'm going to go this way. So 44 minus 4 is 40. And the parentheses is gone. And then we have plus 14 minus 6. Now we do this parentheses. So 40 comes down. 40 plus 14 minus 6 is 8. So now we have 40 plus 8. And that gives us 48. Alright, now for this last one, we're going to do this problem, which looks hard, but again, we're still going to do our PEMDAS. So parentheses or group. So we have a group at the bottom of this fraction and a parentheses here. So let's do both of those first. So we're going to have 8 on top. 5 minus 1 is 4 times 3 plus 6 is 9 times 3. Now, when there's no exponents, there is multiplication and division. This fraction bar is division, multiplication, and multiplication. We have to start to the left, so let's do 8 divided by 4 is 2. So that gives us 2 times 9 times 3. So, again, multiplication, start from the left, so we're going to do 2 times 9 first and get 18. And now, lastly, 18 times 3 is 54. That would be our final answer. And that's a quick 15-minute review of PEMDAS.